Hey, how's it going, guys? We got Jackie here who topped 8 at our locals last week, actually, in our 1.5 format before we go into 4.0. Now, this is a pretty spicy deck. I had wanted to do a profile with him last week, but we couldn't get the time. But now we're just doing it before we, just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
So, walk us through your.
All right, yeah, so we'll start with the eggs. So I'm actually running red. I have 4 Digimons. It's definitely probably the best eggs right now for 1.5. Plus 1,000 if your opponent has 5 trash. And the cool thing about this, and Matt taught me, was if my opponent has 4 cards in their trash, and as I'm security checking, and if it has a security check plus one after checking the first card, and once it'll bring it to a total of 5 in their trash pile, this will actually proc on the second security, which is pretty cool. And I thought, like, it can happen. I just want to throw it out there and teach everyone about that.
Yeah, because your attacks go in one at a time and resolve. So don't ever flip through 3 of your securities at once. You got to resolve each one at a time.
Yep, and 1,000 is definitely, you don't want to miss that. My last win only egg is just teching 1 Yokomon. It's a debatable one. I know people run the starter deck egg, but I like to use Yokomon because you'll see from the reason why from my deck, sometime I will need to attack my opponent's Digimon. So having a guaranteed 1,000 attacking Digimon is pretty beneficial. All right, we'll go with the rookies. We got 4 Zubamons. A lot of people think, like, all right, Zubamon's going to be a Ragnan Lord type deck. It is kind of similar to it, but it's kind of like a hybrid with another deck, and you'll see soon. So yeah, this just helps me to not break as much. It's on play, so the reason why I want to mention on play, because interestingly enough, more than 20% of the cards in my deck are on play effects. So yeah, Zubamon just helps you draw into other combo foods, maybe not break as hard. So yeah, that's a really nice rookie.
And red needs everything they can to get any card advantage. Compared to blue, where they're able to draw one in some form of way, red doesn't really have too many options. So having something like this to kind of, even just to look at the top 5 to just kind of flesh out once great.
Yeah, and blue has Davis. All right, so the next 4 we have Star Deck Agumon. I love these cards. My favorite rookie, guaranteed 1,000. For inherited, definitely one of the staples in red, especially in this meta right now. So run 4 of them. Now this is where it gets kind of spicy. I run 4 of these guys, 4 Agumons. This is from, I forgot which pack it was, from the promo pack.
Yeah, it was like I forgot exactly.
0.0 promo.
There's several ways to get this. Like, shops were kind of handing them out.
Yeah.
You're able to get it from Bandai Premium. A lot of people, weird as it sounds, that we know got these guys. I think in Japan you get them in a magazine. But yeah, it's a very costly rookie card because it's 5. And, going into the game blindly, you're just thinking, oh, it's a promo card, must be rare, whatever. It's either good or bad. This one's on play. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3k DP or less. Now, you're playing 4.
Yes.
Walk us through that.
So one of my main combos in this deck is actually, I didn't say it yet, but I'll go ahead and do a spoiler. It is a CresGarurumon deck. So sometimes it is situational where when the Crest hits one of this and it'll help me, I may play it. Also, if you Digivolve it, it's still 0. I just think it's really good against blue rookie rush decks, any type of rush decks really. If they have a Vmon or they're going ham and their board is getting big, hard playing these is actually not that bad, and you can also just Digivolve off of it next, and it definitely clutched me a few games, and I think it's an underrated card. No one's really running it. I think it's great, especially in a red CresGarurumon deck.
3k power still means it's essentially the strength of a vanilla.
Yes, definitely strong DP security check. This actually can help me defend a lot of things, so it's pretty good. All right. Interesting lineup. I only run 1 Greymon, and I'll explain why later. Before I ran 2, but of course I like having an extra security. It's pretty nice. then again, sometimes I'm always scared to like do too much security check because sometimes security like can help make you lose the game.
Especially going against yellow.
Yeah, so it's pros and cons, but I run one because I actually run 2 of the CresGarurumons. They have the same ability, except it's only for level 7 Digimon gets security check +1, and that's when I actually normally like to start swinging at my opponent with level 7s. And not to mention these are legend arms, so they can be searched. So yeah, and not to mention too, their hard play is 4, and so they're pretty low cost, and I normally do get the level 7 on these guys. And the next thing, I run 3 Dark Tyrannomons, vanilla, 1 for Digi evolution cost. I would run 4, but I think right now, for this deck, I have a weird ratio. I have 12 rookies, and I actually only have 10 level 4s, and I'll explain that later on. But definitely one of the best level 4s for this set.
You're not the only one that's felt that they've been cutting down their Dark Tyrannomons from 4 to 3, just because of differences of how they're looking for more utilities rather than that sweet memory choke.
Yeah. It's I love that card. It's really good, and yeah, memory choking is great. Next one is for CresGarurumon. Had these guys since day 1 because I bought Tie Star deck, and you need the blockers for depending on the matchups. But yeah, you can't go wrong with having 4 of these guys. I would say 4 is definitely a staple in this deck. So that would be a total of 10 level 4s, and the reason why I only run 10 level 4s is because I run 4 CresGarurumons. Because even if I brick, or if I can't, if I don't start with the rookie, I love starting with CresGarurumon, because CresGarurumon is a 5 cost and for a level 5. And what I love doing sometime when I open, I like if I can play this turn 1, I probably will play him turn 1, and then my opponent might flood the field, build up more, and then if I have CresGarurumon, it just helps me CresGarurumon early on in the game, and then I'll get more card flips to be able to pick what certain Digimon would be the best to stay on the board and help clear things out and work with each other.
It's like a degenerate bait for your opponent to it's like, cool, you gave me hardcast of 5 memory to work with?
Yeah.
Nice. And then afterwards, like, cool, I'll just refund that back.
Yeah, and I feel like 5 is still a safe number, just a hard play. Most of the time I even hard play a CresGarurumon for 5. Something about that number 5 is actually not going to overboard. I think is just right, especially if they have a tamer. And then playing a hard 5 is really not that bad. And I love this card. 4 CresGarurumons. Great stats. Again, just I run 4 because, again, I'm running CresGarurumon, so I want as much level 5 as possible. And he's also a 2 cost Digi Evolution with 8,000 DP, tied with Agumon or a Digimon. It can come 10,000, and it's just super strong. I like Digivolving him, and then if my opponent has been offensive, if I'm playing against Imperial Dramon deck, if there's a Pydramon, or if there's Dino Beamon, the green one, they're 7,000. So like if I don't have any inherited effects under this guy, I can still hit and get rid of it and kind of stall out their Imperial Dramon, because those decks, they will swing because they have jamming. They're just going offensive. So when CresGarurumon comes out after digivolving from a level 4, it helps me capitalize better. But this deck does struggle against Imperial Dramon decks or Rookie Rush decks. Alright. So my 9th level 5 is just teching 1 CresGarurumon, and this is primarily because, majority of the decks do run blockers every now and then. This does come in clutch. Of course, the ideal best punishment is against hitting a Ragnarlordmon if they have a Byroludamon, because it'll be a blocker. Also, some Megazoo decks, this card obviously does really well against, unless they have Craniumon. So just teching 1 of those is pretty good. And this is my 10th one, Metal Greymon. I was running 2, but I think 1 is good enough because I realized I really want my CresGarurumons. Like I need to digivolve them, so like I like to keep if I wanted Digivolve from to my level 5s. I wanted to be the lowest cost, which is why the Lava Garurumon and the Groundramon being 2, I ran 4 copies of both, and I just tech one of this just in case. Primarily just for the inherent effect, 3000 DP buff. It's actually, it definitely came in clutch a few times, but I never really swung and do the +2 security in any of my matches, just because I feel that it's just too risky, and I definitely want to level up to my Megas and my level 7s. So this is plus for the 3000 mainly. This is a tech. Surprisingly enough, I hit him all the time for my CresGarurumon. Just one extra blocker. He's a 7000. He doesn't have the requirement where you have to pay 2 memory to attack, and this one I can just hard play 2, and then sometimes it'll confuse my opponent. Like, oh, is he running Megazoo? Like, what's going on? Just hard play him. But yeah, if I need an extra blocker, just to protect my life, I would just hard play him. But yeah, if you hit him with CresGarurumon, that's a huge, big blocker for this meta. And the champion card, my favorite card in this deck, is for CresGarurumon. So yeah, it just works with a lot of those on-play card effects. It has reboot, so if I attack with Lava Garurumon, Digivolve onto CresGarurumon, and if it ends my turn, it'll reboot, and it'll basically shift my level 5 Digimon back into unsuspended. It'll protect them, and then just having reboot is nice, and then 11,000 is also a fairly good DP to be at. Not to mention Red's eggs and their rookies are always plusing 1,000, so it can generally buff them up to 13k, which is not bad. But yeah, love this card. I think it's super underrated. Prices on these are super cheap. I probably am planning to run 4 of these in for the next set for BT4. I have another deck idea with 4 of these guys.
When people see that come on board, how many times do they just look at it and then read the card?
I would say maybe 50% of the opponents, when they see it, they were like, oh, can I just read it and double check what it does? Or when I Digivolve and I draw and I start milling the top of my deck and flipping cards over, I've had opponents be like, wait, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? And it's pretty funny. It's like, some people know and they're like, oh, it's that random RNG card. And then some people will be like, wait, like this is a really interesting card, and I personally think that it's
oh
it's
god, it just dawned on me the fact that, I know you mentioned it earlier, but it just dawned on me because on play abilities go live so hard.
Yes,
especially when you got your Agumon.
Yeah, the Agumon, the Zubamons. Yeah, a lot of things with the CresGarurumon as well. So yeah, it's definitely cool. But I most of the time just want to fish level 5s, and then it's funny because if I fish level 5 and I have another one, I'm just gonna do another one, and then I'll just tempo. I remember one time I had 3 of these on one of my all on board against opponent, and I had like 4 other Digimons. But like seeing 3 of these guys and 4 other Digimons right beside it with like blockers and other things is pretty disgusting. And this one, it'll make sense, but Garurumon, the reason why I'm running him is because of the Zubamons, it's Legend Arms, and I think right now in this meta, this is one of the better Mega Digimons for black. I think it's basically one of the best inherit effects because it makes it into a blocker. So if you do level up to level 7, it's going to be probably one of the strongest blockers in the game, essentially. So people don't expect it. So yeah, I could draw into this, and it won't. And I can even hard play it too. Sometime it depends. It depends on my matchup. Sometimes I even hard play it, and I'll do like an alter. Well, I'll reveal it later, but my alter S and other things. But yeah, definitely a really good card, great inherit effect, and super underrated with 12,000 DP. And this is probably my favorite level 7 in the game. This, like Millenniumon, you Digivolve, and then you target one of your opponent's Digimon, send it to the bottom of their deck, everything else gets trashed. Considering the fact that purple has a bunch of inherent effects on deletion, getting this effect, getting that effect, do this, do that, or all these other Digimons like upon a deletion. But when you send it to the bottom of their deck and everything else gets trashed, those deletion effects don't work. Not to mention my other favorite effect from him is when he gets deleted on deletion, he comes back for free. So he has like a built-in like Monster Reborn, or Call the Haunted, or whatever you call it.
Yeah, I mean anything that just brings it back onto the board.
Bring it back onto the board. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And 13,000 doesn't seem like it's a lot, but once I get it onto my other, once he has inherent effects, other buffs, it's just really nice. And not to mention, if he gains blocker from the Baraludamon, eventually people are going to be frustrated. They're going to have to kill it, and he's going to have to come back for free. So
definitely buys you time against anything, your 14, 15 attackers.
Yeah, it definitely gets by, and it just adds a good pressure to my opponent. The next two is just, and I'm running a lot of Mega, surprisingly. My ratio is kind of weird, but yeah, I have 2 CresGarurumon. Again, they're searchable, Legend Arms, security check +1, it has reboot, so just more big heavy hitters if I need to security check more, depending on my matchup. And the reboot, it's always nice to have a built-in reboot. Super underrated card. But yeah, people build CresGarurumon deck. This deck is definitely in red or black. And then I run 1 Ultra S. The reason why I run 1 Ultra S is against just Rookie Rush or other things. You'll notice that all my Megas were black, and all my level 7s can be Digivolved on from black. So unfortunately, I couldn't. I don't know why I don't run Volcanic Dramon, and I think right now I should run Volcanic Dramon. If anything, I might take out 1 CresGarurumon and then swap that out. Just tech 1 Volcanic Dramon, depending on the matchups, because most locals, they're running a bunch of Rookie Rush or Imperial Dramon, and I think it'll be good against it. But when I get him, it's actually pretty rewarding. And again, if Baraludamon's under him, that's a 15,000 DP blocker. And the funniest thing about Baraludamonn and like these guys, these 3 cards in general, I had so many games where I Digivolve a Millenniumon, it ends my turn, right? And then the first thing my opponent always thinks is like, oh crap, one of my Digimon just got sent to the bottom of my deck, now I have to go pure offensive mode. I have to come back from this deficit. So they attack, and they don't realize that this Millenniumon can actually block. Same thing for the Ultra S. It's like vice versa. It's like if I get my Ultra S on top of my Baraludamonn, every single time when they see a CresGarurumon, it's kind of weird how the human mind thinks. When they see a CresGarurumon, then they'll check, they're like, oh yeah, maybe they might have a Baraludamonn under it, and then it might have a blocker. But for some odd reason right now in this meta, people don't see this. People won't imagine or won't expect an Omnimon Ultra S to be blocking things, or a Millenniumon to be blocking things.
Yeah, it's like an extension ability on top of them having already like 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Or 1 to 2. Yeah.
1 to 2. Yeah.
Yeah. I had to think about it. But yeah, at this point, like they essentially have like 2, 3 abilities with the blocker underneath it. Definitely, like, especially with the Ultra S, it's really devastating when you think about how if they're going to de-Digivolve, then it's going to essentially board wipe anything that's 5k and under. And because it's possibly going to end their turn, and if somehow your opponent miraculously has something to still bring out that can attack, which is essentially something in their nursery, well, cool. Well, this guy's a blocker now too.
Yeah. So it just continues with the combo. Yeah, you play, and you punish your opponent, and now they're just standing there as a brick wall. It's ready to defend anything. And then my last few cards, I only run 2 Gaia Forces. I think 2 is definitely the staple. It's okay to draw into it, like top deck wise, but starting with it, you don't want to start with it. So I think 2 is good, and of course, it's probably one of the best security check cards right now that Red has, and it definitely comes in clutch.
It's definitely the flex box where you can play from 2 to 4 whenever you're trying to fit in like big beefy 7Ks, or sorry, level 7s. Gaia Force is the first choice to be opted out to replace it.
Definitely. Yeah, I also love the art too. And then
getting on a full art version.
Yeah, the full art. Oh man, the alternate arts, all those things are crazy. And the last thing is debatable, is just the Black Tie Kamiya. If I go hand with my CresGarurumon, even if I need a attack with my Baraludamonn, depending on the matchup, it'll be a +1000. Sometime for green, if they suspend, they forget that when they play Flower Cannon, they try to attack over certain my black cards. They'll be like, oh, like, yeah, 12 for 12 or whatever. They'll forget that, like, oh, there's an extra 1000. Also, this against Shine, if I have a Baraludamonn and face up, And then this is on play. My Barlumon's at 13,000, so Shine Greymon would need an extra tamer to destroy it. Glorious Burst as well, yeah. So I just tech 1. A lot of decks run 2 memory gainer, but for me, I think it's okay. I don't really need that much memory. As long as my CresGarurumon can hit the right cards, I feel like I can start tempoing pretty hard. And that's pretty much the entire deck list.
Cool. Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out to Matt, of course, because Matt, you know, his shop is amazing. I feel like the community really loves being here. Just the vibe, how friendly, you know, the entire staff's here. Everyone's super friendly, super nice. The tournaments are super organized. We have a very competitive crowd. Yeah, and just shout outs to just the community, everyone that is, you know, that comes here and play. Just makes everything really fun and entertaining, and it's just a great way to spend your weekend. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, well, appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's a great Digimon stuff. Like, it's a great vibe. People, they just seem happy for the most part. People feel like you could just tell you could just make friends here.
Yeah, made so many friends here, and everyone's so, like, everyone has some, you know, everyone has their own personality, very like unique personalities, but everyone is just super friendly, very welcoming. Yeah, and just I didn't see anyone start any drama. Everyone's always nice, friendly, and you'll have a great time.
Very different from coming from a Yu-Gi-Oh background, huh?
Yeah, some people could get a little hardcore from Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's because, you know, sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh, there's just some crazy wombo combos or crazy hand traps, and it just frustrates people. Or you're trying to build up all this combo, and it's just gone instantly with one broken card. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate your time. That was definitely a unique. Yeah, because we don't see too much love for Crest. He's definitely an underrated card, like you said. Another deck that was black. I think it was Yuli's deck that top. Yeah.
Shout outs to Yuli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yuli's Ragnalordmon with he splashed it with 2 CresGarurumons. But yeah, definitely CresGarurumon's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what you'll be doing with him in our next format with 4.0 coming next week.
Yes, I'm excited, and my deck list is already kind of typed up, so I'm gonna bring it next week.
All right. Well, thank you again, everyone out there. Please like, hit the subscribe, leave a comment below, notification, all that YouTube comments, whatever I'm supposed to say. We'll try to bring you more content when we can. Thank you again for watching, and goodbye.
Have a good one. Awesome.